side. Parker, Morgan, they lost it. It drops, and it's a two-base hit, and Rice is going to try for three, and he will not make it. Line drive, right field. We may have a play at the plate. Big hop. Here comes Downing. Here's the throw. It is. He knocked him off the plate. What a tag by Claire.
He was just a physical specimen with size, strength, speed.
Big guy can do it all.
Dave Parker, Cobra.
He was the Cobra, man. He could strike.
The Cobra comes hissing into the dugout.
That's the way he played. He lashed out at that ball, but it was also kind of that personality. You never know when I'm going to jump out there and bite you.
He was his bigger-than-life personality.
Game one, the Giants and the Cubs, as Parker launches one to deep right center. This may get out of here. Gone.
Stoudemire had been pounding Dave Parker inside, and with that little with-the-seam fastball, it tailed right out over the plate into his wheelhouse. Did he admire it?
Yes,
Shades
Dave.
of Reggie.
It was a thing of beauty, my man.
Dave Parker to lead off in the bottom of the third inning. And he gets a high drive to deep right field. And Dave Parker has hit his first World Series home run. In his 46th World Series at-bat, Dave Parker, who had two in the playoffs, hits one out, and it's 4-0.
Somebody big just died. MLB Hall of Famer and former MVP Dave Parker is dead at 74 years old. And my friend Mike North is here to help deliver his eulogy. Mike, how are you, my friend? I'm seeing you a lot these days.
I'm telling you, it's our sixth one this month. I mean, we had Jim Marshall, number one. We have Brian Wilson. We have Lou Christie. I mean, I got to memorize. Sly Stone. Are you kidding me? Bobby Sherman.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable, man. It really is. And we've been getting a lot of good feedback. We've been getting a lot of hits. I mean, even guys that, I mean, some of our biggest hits have been like Lou Christie, because they weren't out there as much as other people, but you heard them all the time. And we talked about it. And the same thing goes for other people that are on here. This will be no different. Dave Parker was well known. No doubt about it. He was well known. They painted a nice picture of him. I read social media when he died. I read the papers when he died. And great hitter, 11-time All-Star, championship, played on 2 World Series teams and everything else. It failed to leave out. He almost took the game down. Him and his teammates almost took the game down with a league-wide cocaine issue that was supposedly one of the major teams was the Pirates. Pop Stargell. You know why they called him Pops? Huh? Now you know why.
He was popping
more than homers. Dale Berra, Dave Parker. I mean, a big cocaine thing. A guy named Curtis Strong was running the ring. I mean, a lot of these guys could have been thrown out of baseball. And the reason that, you're reading, he should have been in the Hall of Fame early. No, he's lucky he got in. He's lucky he got in. He didn't get in until after the 15 years was up, because that was a serious issue. And they were riding high back then. But that's why we do this show. We hit the good, we hit the bad.
That's right.
We don't play these little games. Hey, he was hey. Oh, there's a little problem over here. No.
Say it like it is, Mike.
Just say it like it is. And that's what we do with our sponsors, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah. Cumberland Chapels. Joe's going, is he going to bring it up? Is he going to say it? Is he going to forget about it? I know what he was doing. I saw the eye. I saw the sweat coming down the side of his hair. I saw the wrinkles on the forehead. I said, I better do this. Serving families with dignity and grace. They are unbelievable folks. They're nice folks. You go in there. You say, here's what I need. This is who just passed away. These people they get taken care of economically. They have different packages. You have cremation, you have burial, you have chapels, you got the parking on the left, the right side, across the street, behind the place, just big place. Go see them. Check them out. Cumberland Chapel's Funeral Home, 8300 West Lawrence Avenue, Norwich, Illinois. And at 708-456-8300, CumberlandChapels.com. And Tino Antonacci raised a nice son named Tony, and Tony's got that restaurant, Pennyville Station, 112 Main Street, right there in Park Ridge, Illinois. A great place, great libations, great food, as you can see, French fries, salads, mahi-mahi, and all this other great stuff. Prime rib, steaks, well decorated, beautiful, couples place, singles place, anything you want over there. Great, great strip down there now, right across from the railroad station right there at 112 Main Street. That is Pennyville Station. There's Jesse, Tony, and me. Feeling good. All right. Here we go. Dave Parker. I never made a big deal about him making the Hall of Fame. But because he wasn't an embraceable guy. You know, he wasn't like Ernie Banks. Sure. Even Willie Stargell. You know, he wasn't he was the Cobra. He was a badass. No doubt about it. I remember this game, the All-Star game. He loses the ball, and then boom. I mean, that's an arm.
Then he had another one in the same game.
Yeah, 90% of the outfielders in today's game don't have arms. They really don't. If you ever notice, back in the day, if there was a ball hit to medium outfield, left or center, guys didn't even try. Now they'll try. It's got to be a little bit shorter. They got to be running in. They got to be catching it. This guy could catch it at the wall. Now, besides his issues, he had tremendous positivity in the city of Pittsburgh, in the city of everywhere he went. It seems like he contributed. And he was a fighter. He didn't mess around. But they couched a lot of things. But he was seemed like a fun guy. And he lasted a long time. He passed away from Parkinson's. He was born in Grenada, Mississippi, 1951. Yeah, just a year older than me.
Jeez.
Well, really 2 years. I'm 52, but it says here he's 74. I'm going to be 73. So he just had the birthday June 9th. And he died in Cincinnati, where he had played. He grew up in Mississippi, but then they moved to Cincinnati, and he actually used to play baseball in the Crosley Field parking lot as kids.
Wow.
And then they actually play there, and then they
That's
actually hit big homers there. You know, it's pretty cool. His favorite sport was football. Man, he was a tailback, but he injured a knee during his senior year, gave up the game. Also basketball. He also hit a home run that landed on the roof of a restaurant across the street in high school from the stadium, from the high school park that they played at, and none had ever been hit that hard. So he was strong beyond.
Dude's a monster.
He began his career with the Pittsburgh Pirates in '73. He was one of the guys that used the sledgehammer. Him and Willie Stargell used the sledgehammer. You think this guy had any fun?
I think he did.
Bundle.
Smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, he also paced the L, smoking a cigarette in the dugout. A lot of them used to do that. He also paced the NL in slugging percentage, 585. On base percentage, slugging, 979. And total bases in his MVP campaign, which was in 1978. Tremendous, big boy, big player. He had a jaw broken colliding in the home plate, but he kept playing. They'd keep guys out 6 weeks now.
Jeez.
You know, he played with the face mask, which is ahead of its time back then.
Oh, yeah.
Going across the thing. They never used to have any of that stuff. They rewarded him after his MVP year with the first $1 million per year contract. First one in baseball. He got 5 years for $5 million. And the fans didn't like it. They were jealous. Like it says here, Pirate fans angered by his $1 million contract, threw nuts and bolts and bullets and batteries at him. That doesn't sound right.
Imagine what they would think now.
Yeah. During the game that season, he hit a ball so hard it knocked the cover off the ball. By the time it landed in the outfield, it made it difficult to throw back into play. So the guy was like had some legendary things going on. He was an instrumental part of the World Series champion. We Are Family, Pittsburgh, by Omar Marino. Don't get me started. Manny Sanguillen. You got Phil Gardner at shortstop. I mean, it was a hell of it was the We Are Family team. Kent Ticovey, just some great players. During the game, that season he hit a ball so hard he knocked part of the cover off. In 1981, at the point in his career when it looked as if he would one day rank among the game's all-time greats, they noted one of the writers saying that he was better than Clemente. It didn't end up that way, and he's not revered like Clemente. I know that he was great, but he played on 6 teams. Clemente was a career Pittsburgh player. Thing I loved about this guy, married to the same girl since 1984.
Oh yeah.
So he was a good family man. He had 6 children, and he even looked good there. You know, that looks nothing like him.
No, I agree.
I don't know why his hat's tilted. Anyway, who does a plaque with the hat tilted? Here's him and his lovely wife. I mean, the guy's in the Pirate Hall of Fame, the Reds Hall of Fame. He played, but here's what happened. In the early 80s, however, he suffered injuries, weight problems, and then started doing cocaine. And it spread through the major leagues. And the Pirates sued him in 86. They still had to get deferred. They were still making deferred payments, and they settled out of court, which basically he said forget.
Wow.
Well, the guy didn't live up to his deal, man. He was such a terrific player, and it was sort of sad what happened, but it was a big scandal, Joe. You know, the other day they said you won't realize how big Bobby Sherman was because you didn't live during that time. Same thing with the scandal. It was, if there would have been, I don't think there was ESPN back then. If there would have been ESPN back then, it would have been on all the time. But he bounces back in 85. He enjoyed his best season since he won the 78 MVP. 312 batting average, 34 homers. How about that? With 125 ribbies,
that's
42 doubles, 80 extra base hits, and 350 total bases. Wow. He was the winner of the first home run derby that the league held at the 1985 All-Star game. This is when they had 10 attempts. Now they got 600, and you sit there and falling asleep at 9:30 with drool coming out. You're like this with drool coming out of the side of your mouth, trying to stay awake. 6 home runs in 10 attempts.
That's crazy.
He finished second to Willie McGee in the 85 voting for MVP. He was among several players that had to testify. Look at the hat. Look at it. That's the square hat, though. That was the pillbox hat. Those were cool hats. It says here he was one of several players who testified against a dealer in the Pittsburgh drug trials, named as regular users of cocaine. That's every day.
A lot of cocaine, Mike.
Parker and 6 other players were suspended for the whole season. And people are going, gee, why didn't he get in the Hall of Fame? Why didn't he get in? He was so good. Well, tell the whole story and you're going to find out. He almost burnt the league to the ground.
Well, yeah. He
about strikes. Rampant drug problems could cause a problem in the National.
Oh, sure.
All right. Named as regular users, he and 6 other players were suspended. The sentences were commuted, however, for exchange. Listen to this. You did a lot of coke. You almost ruined the league. But give back 10% of your base salary to drug-related programs and you can play. Bullshit. Jeez. That's bullshit. That's a bunch of bullshit. They deserve to be out. The baseball, the toughest they ever got was at the beginning, the Black Sox scandal. The World Series of 2017. These guys should have been gone. But he kept playing after winning the 89 World Series with Oakland. So he played on 2 World Series teams. He signed a 2-year contract with Milwaukee. So the guy, as long as that guy had power, as long as he had power and he was a lefty, look out. He had a solid year in his last season with the Brewers. 289, 21 homers, and 610 at bats, and he was selected a reserve for the All-Star. Now,
that's impressive.
The last season, he's released. The Toronto Jays pick him up for insurance on September 14th. Jays manager Pat Gillick, who's a good one, signed him to the league minimum. This is, you go up, and then you go down.
It's riding the wave.
You make your peak years that money, and then you go down. It happens to everybody. It happens to everybody. And that's what happened to him. He got $650 a game.
Jeez.
11,500 for the 19 remaining games. Listen to this. He goes, okay. He goes 12 for 37 for a batting average of 324. How about that?
Jeez.
He did not qualify because he got picked up so late, but they wanted him on the team so bad. But he did not qualify, so he was unable to play. He became a free agent at the end of the season. Now, this is the best part of this whole story. Joe's going to love this part.
I like these kind of stories, Mike.
Guy's on his last legs. Guy can barely lift a coffee cup. Guy's fucking doing cocaine probably across lines. Who knows what he's doing? Probably did some with Jim Irsay. Let's take a look at Jim Irsay real quick.
I had it ready for you, Mike.
There you go. Yeah, that wasn't just drinking. Either was that. Anyway, back to Dave Parker. I always like to bring it up. And there's my other one. There I am. With a newspaper in my hand, which is archaic. But this is the best part. He became a free agent following the end of the season. Basically, the guy can barely make it to the bus. Guess what team was interested in him? One team.
The White Sox.
Yes. The White Sox were the only team showing interest in him as a backup for Bo Jackson, who couldn't walk. Okay. But with the Sox signing former Blue Jay George Bell, Parker had no other potential offers, and he left the league. His career statistics were 339 homers, which aren't Hall of Fame numbers, folks. They're not. It's just he put such good years together, and he made so many All-Star teams. But I mean, he had 339 homers. He had 290. Those are not Hall of Fame numbers. I'm sorry, but he finally got in.
He had a good arm. He had some good defense.
The one thing about him is he had 5 tools.
He was a true 5-tool player.
True, yeah, but it tells you how much they were begging to get him in. See, Dale Murphy's won 2 MVPs. He's a Christian, never been involved in drugs, but nobody talks for him, and he don't talk for himself. But Dale Murphy, if this guy's in, Dale Murphy deserves to be in. Dale Murphy should have been in a long time ago, but he's not. Harold Baines was in ahead of these 2 guys. And I like Harold, but he never held any record in anything. He never did anything. Really, never hit 50 homers in a season. Drove in, he was a nice player. Longevity got him in, and Jerry Reinsdorf and Tony La Russa. All right. Parker served as the first base coach for the Anaheim Angels. So he still continued to work. He was a likable guy.
He stayed in baseball.
He wasn't. Think about it. Pete Rose was banned, but this guy wasn't. Think about that with the drugs. Think about it. And with the serious as they were. But he got diagnosed with Parkinson's, which is sad. He played 22 years. He owned several Popeyes chicken franchises in Cincinnati. So he was smart. He was a hitting instructor. But he never got more than 24% of the vote in the 15 years he was eligible. Okay? He got in front of the Baseball Era Committee. This is just enough. The Hall of Fame should have a 15-year criteria and nothing else. If you didn't get in, I'm sorry. Oh, we're old pals of Ron Santo. We want him to get in. Let's have the Veterans Committee. We're old pals of this guy or that guy.
Pete Rose, too.
I don't care about the Hall of Fame anymore. I used to.
And then he finally gets inducted, Mike, and he dies 29 days before he gets inducted.
Well, at least he saw himself get inducted. A lot of these guys like to get they put him in after they die,
Yeah.
But he got in. He had both his knees replaced. He was involved in raising money for curing Parkinson's. He did some wonderful things, this guy. He did great things like anybody else. You have good times, you have bad times. He had 6 children. He resided in Loveland, Ohio. He died from Parkinson's at the age of 74, 29 days before he was going to be in. Just a great, solid ball player that had some off the field troubles, but kept himself together, raised a fine family. His wife, God bless her, she's got to have the patience of my wife, Bibi, for God's sake, or anybody's wife. But
amen.
He was bringing home the Jing. He was doing what he had to do. That was great. I remember that cover. Jim Rice looks, and he's not a little man. Jim Rice is like 6'1". But this
Dave
guy
Parker makes him look like a midget.
And then the pillbox hat makes him look even bigger, But Jim Rice was all that too. Jim Rice was a great baseball player also. So absolutely tremendous career for him. But he's still rolling. He's announcing now. He does the post game for the Boston Red Sox. So Dave Parker was just a fantastic performer. Had the best arm I've seen. I don't think he replaced Clemente. He would have. Maybe people argue that point, but Roberto Clemente had 3,000 hits, and then then he got killed in a plane crash. That just gives you more. That just gives you more credence. But great job, Joe. You got a chance. You didn't? Did you see him play?
I didn't. I didn't see him play.
You're still too young for this show, basically.
But I knew of him.
Yeah. The problem with me is I know all of them. I follow them all. I bought their records. I bought the magazines with them on the cover, and kaput, they're gone. So his career was a great one. Congratulations on getting into the Hall of Fame. Our condolences on behalf of Joe and myself. 6 children, his lovely wife. He was a good man. Raised a lot of money for charity. Fell off and got back up, picked himself up, dusted himself off, started all over again. We've all had our issues, and it's how you recover from your issues. It's how you handle your issues.
Amen.
It's how you handle yourself, and he handled himself pretty damn good. And he was a hell of a baseball player in that middle of that lineup with Stargell and Parker in the middle. 11 years, and then he went to Cincy, and then he started bouncing around. But those were the years without the guaranteed contract. And whenever you feel bad about, hey, I should have this job, or I should have that job, or I used to make this much money. He made $1 million in the 70s, okay? And then he was signed for $650 the last year of his deal 20 years later.
Insane.
Yeah. But that happens. It happens all the time, especially to people that love what they do and they want to hang on. I made my big money not a long time. I still make good money, but not the big money I made back then. You have your good days, your big money days, and you don't. But the money I make now is good enough. I don't understand. I just saw the other day where a guy who made $85 million in his career. I was just reading about it. Blew it. I'm still.
Can you imagine? I can't.
Hell, I'm still living off score money from the 90s. I mean, you invest, you make your money, and I'm living off money from the 2000s and stuff. I mean, you still make money, but you got to invest it and stuff. And you got to, do stuff like that. But I can't imagine. Oh, and then $85 million. I'm having a memory problem tonight. I can't remember these guys' names, but I just read about them in the paper. I'm absolute stunned. Anyway, on behalf of Joe, on behalf of me, on behalf of Pennyville Station, on behalf of Cumberland Chapel's Funeral Home, they're the best. We appreciate it. We appreciate all you guys. And we'll probably be back in a few days. That's the way it's been going lately.
And every 2 to 3 days, Mike.
For another exciting episode of Somebody Big Just Died. Good night.
Good night.